If you have big goals but keep hitting the same internal wall, listen closely. Hard work will take you far. And when effort stops working, it is not a strategy problem. It is a programming problem. You do not rise to your goals. You elevate to your programming. Inside Outspoken, you'll reprogram the subconscious patterns that drive 95% of your results. And in the process, earn 6 powerful certifications while you do it. Enrollment closes January 31st. If you are ready to stop pushing and start leading from a solid, grounded foundation, join us in Outspoken. Welcome to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. I know you are here wanting to change and rewrite your story. You are desiring to step into the impact that you know you are here to create. I am here to guide you with the proven tools and strategies used by myself and our speakers to support you in taking radical responsibility in your life and learning how to own your choices to change your story. My name is Marsha Van Weinsberg. I am a storytelling business coach, master NLP trainer, speaker, podcaster, and 7 times published author. My clients have found freedom and purpose from overcoming their shame stories and learning how to share them with the world. I am so grateful you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about visibility. Now, I have so many people who come into my world because of Outspoken and wanting to be seen. They're craving this being able to be seen. Yet it's so scary, especially in the online space. It feels like there's criticism, there's judgment, there's opinions. And I know that. I know those feelings very well. And yet, I also want to be able to support you to come up with some tools for how to navigate it. Because that's the thing, right? Visibility isn't just strategy, it is nervous system work. It's being able to allow yourself to be fully seen. And when you get the criticism, it feels like, oh my God, I have to go run and hide. The shame is so big. I can't do this. And it's actually not about your side of the street, it is about the other side of the street. And so I'm going to give you a couple of metaphors today. I want to share this from the lens while still respecting a client who walked through a really difficult situation. I have been on the receiving end of this. Many years ago, I was in a space where I, started to share our story, and I was actually speaking on small stages. I had a lot of people who didn't agree with what I was doing. I was always sharing it from my lens. And I did have somebody come to my house. I've shared this story before, but I did have somebody, a friend, come to my house and completely berate me for not doing enough to fix my kids. And I remember in that moment, here was a key piece about judgment. When I heard her, all of a sudden, I heard in my own voice, I've said all of those things to myself. So all of a sudden, I went, why am I going to let her stand here and talk to me this way when I'm already doing that to myself? The only reason something is creating such a reaction in us is because deep down there is a part of us that believes that's possible. It mirrors something in us. If somebody had said to me, "You look ridiculous with green hair," I would say, "That's stupid because I don't even have green hair. I don't know what you're talking about." Like, I wouldn't even connect to it because it's not true. But when something is said about us and it actually hits kind of that unhealed, unprocessed part of ourselves where there's a part of our subconscious that actually believes it, then it hits kind of that trigger panic button, and that's what happens. And so in this case, when this person said that, I remember distinctly, it was a turning point for me. And I just went, why am I going to let her have this power when I'm literally doing this to myself? And I said, in the kindest way possible, I'm going to do you a favor and we're going to part ways because this isn't working for me. And you know what? She was a very, very good friend. If you would have asked me that, I would have said that she was. And I've never spoken to her since that day. That was probably 10 years ago. So it is interesting how difficult situations can bring out like the worst in people, or you get to see who your actual circle is. So I want to talk a little bit about this. And it's also such a reminder for me because my business is built on a lot of collaboration. Like I have a number of different businesses now, and they are all based in different levels of collaboration. And that's how fortunate I feel I am and how much I believe in collaboration because I think that it actually changes the game. It elevates it. You are able to show others what is possible. You can work together. These rooms, virtual and in person, they've changed and shaped me and my entire business. So your unconscious mind will actually start to collaborate to the people that you spend the most time with. And if you are actually in spaces, whether it's virtual or in person, with people who expand you, all of a sudden you start to see what is possible. You start to see how much more there is available for you. Some people are going to collaborate, hands down. They don't even think twice about it. They're like, yep, I'm in. What can I do? How can I help you? You know, that one quote that there will be people, you want to surround yourself with people who speak your name when you're not in the room. Those are the people that you want to connect and collaborate with. Some people will criticize, some people will compete. And the more you succeed at something, the more these people will stand out because you're the expander for them. So, say, for example, if you are writing a book, I'm going to say this. I think this is a pretty honest statement, and I think it's real. You will never be criticized by someone who has done what you're doing. It's not going to happen. So, in all of my time of writing and the time I released the book and all the things, I didn't receive an ounce of criticism from somebody else who had written a book. Not one. But holy shit, I received a lot of criticism and judgment from people who had never written a book. And that's what it looks like. You will trigger people because of what you're doing and how you show up and how you share. You are triggering in something inside of them. And so I want to speak to this because this is real and this is what happens. This client in particular, she knows I'm doing this, but she was hit with some nasty messages, like the kind that I honestly almost forget that there are people and women out there who behave this way because I don't see it in my world. I don't see it anymore. It's just like if you acted that way in my world, I literally block, move on. I'm no, thank you, not interested, no energy. And with this kind of emotion attached to it, like her unconscious mind contracted and her nervous system said, oh my God, not safe, not safe, not safe at all. Can't be seen, not safe. And it's unfortunate because what your subconscious mind is doing is trying to protect you, right? Like it's like, oh my God, unsafe, don't go here. But then also what happens is we have this part of our brain. So I like to explain it this way. We have our conscious and we have the RAS, it's called the reticular activating system. And then we have our subconscious mind, then our unconscious mind. Another story. But our RAS, that's the piece that actually takes direction from you of where to go and to focus. So you know how you've heard the story? Like if you see a red car and you like it, but you've never seen that red car before, your RAS is what happens is it's like on alert. It's like a red car, look for it. Same with the Tesla truck. The first time I hadn't seen it, everybody was talking about it. And then it was like within a day, I'm like, oh my God, I think I've saw like 10. Your RAS notices what you are calling out. So in this situation, her RAS goes on high alert for danger, right? One threat, one argument, danger, danger, danger. And then over here, there's like 50 people who are supporting. And isn't that kind of like what happens even in the online space? You put one comment, like one post out, and all of a sudden you get one negative comment, but you've got like 50 comments saying, oh my God, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for putting this out there. Where is your brain focusing? Is it focus on the one or focus on the 50? You get to decide. And it is so intense. There's nothing wrong with how this client was experiencing this. This is actually normal because the brain is wired to scan for danger and be on the outlook for danger because its number one job is safety. So there's nothing wrong with this person. This is exactly how we are wired. So first thing I talked about was this situation. And as I said to her, I'm curious with their words, are they correct? Is it true? And she said, no. I'm like, so what they're saying isn't true. It does hurt because you're human and you have feelings and it's not true. So, where are we going to focus on what is true? And so we started to shift it back to what is true. Then I started to talk about the analogy of like our sides of the street. So, if you imagine that you're standing on your street and it's a street that has like yellow lines, okay? We got the yellow lines. And people who are behaving like this way, childish, let me call it that, on the other side of the street, they are there. And so you could be running back and forth, trying to argue your point, going to the side of the street, trying to explain it, trying to get them to get and understand. And meanwhile, they're over there holding their ground, like really being in a space of, yeah, criticism, judgment, insecurities, like unhealed everything, and just nasty humans, right? The kind that we don't want to imagine that they exist, but they do. I call that very much unhealed because in the lens of NLP, what perception is projection. So how we are perceiving something is how we are projecting outwards. And what that means is that someone else's behavior speaks entirely about them. So if you ever watch somebody losing their mind over something, I want you just to pause and go, wow, interesting. What is going on inside their world? That is how they behave. Like what is going on? What level of hurt or anger or unhealed, unprocessed are they walking through? Because it's not about you. It feels like it, but it's not about you. So on your side of the street, you're like, no, I'm trying to live in my values and I've got a big vision and I want to help other people and I want to work together and I want to use my voice. And over there on their side of the street, it is just absolute chaos, nastiness, hurtful criticism. They're on their side of the street. So when you are being pulled into their energy or you stop showing up and you hide because of the way that they are behaving, what's happening is you're stepping off your side of the street. You're being pulled into their side of the street. And that's not where your future is built. That is not where your like everything that you're working towards, those people are not meant to go with you. Right? As they talk about the rocket ship when it takes off, of course I don't have it with me, but I did use this in a keynote once. When the rocket ship takes off, there is like something like 80% of the energy is used in the first 10 seconds. And then I think it's the boosters come off the rocket. And I think it's interesting because the boosters are meant to be there to get the rocket going. And then they have to fall off because the rocket actually has to be lighter to go further. Well, how about this thinking that people who behave this way, people who act this way, people who have mistreated you, they are the boosters on your rocket, right? They're the boosters on your rocket. And then they just go because they're not meant to go where you're going, but they are meant to be part of your journey so that you can become the person that you're meant to become. If you choose to shrink back down because of how others are behaving, please know, and I say this with the most amount of love, that is still a choice. We all get to choose. And did I shrink down a lot of times in the beginning? I sure did. It took me a long time to learn how to use my voice and see how others behaved through the lens of that has nothing to do with me. And you know what? I actually don't want to spend time with people like that because I really don't choose it at all. So with your identity. And when we think about people who behave this way and they like push you down and force you to feel like you have to shrink down, I want you to ask yourself, who are you when someone speaks to you this way? Who are you when no one is clapping? Who are you when people are being critical? And who are you when you're misunderstood? Because your identity doesn't shift based on whether someone else gets you or not. Okay. Your identity doesn't shift because someone else can't handle who you are and who you're becoming. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to get it wrong. I actually had a moment in December, not a proud moment. I say those moments happen. I responded to something and afterwards I was like, oh, that was not my best self. I actually reached out and apologized to this person and was met with zero apology in return. And I went, you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm going to keep my side of the street clean. And that's the reframe I want to give you right now is regardless of how somebody else responds to your apology, responds to how you act, whatever they're saying or doing, is your side of the street clean? Is your side of the street something that you can be proud of? Something that you can be like, you know what? I'm damn proud of the journey that I walked and how I've led myself, regardless of what the people on the other side of the street are thinking and saying. Keep them over there. They are the boosters on your rocket. They are not meant to go where you are going. They serve a purpose. They do, because they're shaping you into the person that you're becoming. Do I wish you could become this without people like that? Sure do, but that's not how it works. So instead, clean your side of the street, focus on it. Notice how your body responds when you are around people like this. When you're in the energy of people who are critics versus when you're in the energy of people who are all about collaboration. You know where you belong and you know what you're here to do. So please remember how many people are cheering for you, how many people are supporting you. You get to choose what you focus on. You get to choose how you respond. And your voice, your message, your story has impact, and it is meant to help someone else, especially if you feel called to that. Okay, especially if you feel called to that. Rise above that crap on the other side of the street. Rise above it. You don't have to engage. You don't have to convince. You don't have to speak to them. You don't have to pull them up. You don't have to change them. You don't have to do anything. And if you don't have to do anything, you also don't have to shrink to make them feel comfortable. You get to rise. You get to stay who you are. You get to choose your own frequency. And you get to choose how you respond to what is happening in your world. And if there's anything that I want this message to land is please do not shrink down when the boosters on your rocket aren't meant to go where you're going. When those people are trying so hard to shrink you down and you know that they're not part of your journey, please don't because of them. Please don't. Because there are so many people out there who are willing to collaborate and support you on your journey. And someone who will love you and support you and cheer you on in ways that you can't even fathom yet. They do exist. So if you're in a space where you want to know how to do this, this is all of the work that we do. But I knew that I wanted to share this experience with you because there's just so much to it. This client deserves better. And I want her to be in a space of saying, doesn't matter what you say about me. Because I know me, I know my heart, I know what I'm here to do. And I'm here to rise above that and to get my message out into the world. So I love you tons. I would love to hear how this message lands. And please know that you always get to choose your response and keep your side of the street clean. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Own Your Choices, Own Your Life. If you love this episode, I invite you to tag me on social media with your takeaways or share it with a friend. Please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. Until next time, remember, when you own your choices, you truly own your life.